Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Green Hell Greenhorn here on Box Gaming. My name is Justin, and today we're going to be driving around in this Toyota GT86 around the Nürburgring Nordschleife. So this is for the new viewers to the channel, and there's a lot of you. About close to 40% of the current subscribers on this channel have been subscribed for less than 2 months, I would say, or so. So hello to all of you guys that might be new to this particular series. This is a series where I take out various cars on the Nordschleife and just drive them around. And slowly but surely, I've covered, gosh, a lot of cars. I already forget which episode. I think this is episode 36 that we're up to. So I have done a lot of laps of the Nordschleife, as and this is being recorded. I'd like to mention there's something a little bit different about this episode versus previous episodes. My Audacity crashed actually when I was rendering the file. I tried to get it back, it just didn't work. It was a big pain in the butt, and I had been considering switching this series to a post-race commentary sort of thing, and recording the commentary for it after the fact. I could certainly understand the benefit of a live commentary for this type of video, but since the recording actually didn't work out, I assumed, I figured this is as good a time as any to kind of gauge interest, as right now I'm actually I'm trying to get all of my stuff together, so I believe I'm actually about to drive off the circuit because I still need to get my pedals. So I got the basic info down at the bottom there, but now I need to move the pedals, and I've completely forgotten to drive the car, so I've made contact with the barrier. For those that are unfamiliar with Assetto Corsa, there is no damage. Well, there is damage in Assetto Corsa, but I have it turned off. The damage model isn't that great in Assetto Corsa. That's certainly not one of this sim's strengths. Now, I'd like to point out, as I've completely lost the back end. It's been a while since I've driven in Assetto Corsa, or indeed on the Nordschleife. It's been quite a bit of time. Recent episodes of this series have featured the 2015 Mercedes F1 car, the 2015 Williams F1 car, the 2014 GP2 car. So I've been doing a lot of single-seater recent cars that aren't very old and are single-seaters, F1, GP2, that sort of thing. And that's where the series was going. I was working my way backwards towards the older single-seater cars until eventually I was forced to do the Lotus 49, and that is still in the works. However, there was a free content update for Assetto Corsa that happened not too long ago, and one of the new cars that was provided in this new content update is one of my current favorite cars that's being produced right now, which is the Toyota GT86 or the Scion FRS or the Subaru BRZ, whatever you want to call this car, because it goes by about 100 different names. It's a car that I really like. If I was going to buy a sports car, this would probably be the one that I would buy. It's quite a light car. I think it weighs less than 1,200 kilos, something like that. It's pretty light. I'm actually struggling to remember how much it weighs in kilos now, but it's like 2,600 pounds, 2,700 pounds, something like that. It's really not much. It's quite a lightweight car. It doesn't have loads of horsepower. I'm actually not familiar with exactly how much horsepower this car has, but it really doesn't have much. It's all about handling with this car. It's front engine. I believe it's a 4-cylinder in the front, and I've completely braked way too late for that uphill left-hander there, which has sent me into the barrier and then sent me across the track and into the other barrier. So this is of course an outlap, which is one of the downsides to practicing on the Nordschleife, is that your outlaps take about 10 minutes, especially in a car that's this speed. And again, I'm quite rusty at this stage, so I'm just kind of getting used to being behind the wheel of Assetto Corsa once again. But again, this is a car that I'm very excited about in real life. So that's why I was kind of excited to take it out on the Nordschleife and kind of see what it's got, because like I said, it's a car that interests me in general. The Abu Dhabi Yas Marina circuit has a GT86 series that they race regularly, actually. So people that follow the Yas Marina Twitter account should be quite familiar with this car, because they race a series that's entirely GT86s, which is fantastic. I'm sure the people that are watching this that are most familiar with this car will probably be fans of drifting. This is the spiritual successor to the Toyota AE86, or which was a Corolla, which was a Toyota Corolla from the 80s. I don't remember what year exactly, like 85, 83, 87. something like that. But the code for that car, the like kind of manufacturer code, was the AE86, and it became known as the 86. And you can go look it up right now. Just type in like Toyota Corolla AE86 into Google, and you guys will see exactly what kind of car it is. In fact, it'll probably bring up a bunch of images from an anime called Initial D, which is probably where most people became familiar with the AE86. So, like I said, this is the spiritual successor to that car. It doesn't have a lot of horsepower, just like the AE86. It's rear-wheel drive, just like the AE86. And yeah, it's nimble. It's a tiny little sports car. And I can understand why a lot of people, this would be completely uninteresting to them. But really, I'm very much into this side of cars. I like muscle cars. I like supercars. I like Ferraris. I like touring cars. I'm all over the place. If it's rear-wheel drive, then I'll probably like it. If it's all-wheel drive, then I'll probably like it. If it's front-wheel drive, I already hate it. That's pretty much what it boils down to. I can't stand front-wheel drive cars. I don't understand why somebody would invest money in making a front-wheel drive car faster. I mean, that just blows my mind completely here. So I'm just right now, again, just trying to find out what this car is all about. Of course, I'm pretty familiar with this track at this point. I've probably done anywhere between 100 and 200 laps of the Nordschleife over the course of the past 6 months, something like that. And I've done it in over 30 different types of cars, nearly 3 dozen. I did the 2014 GP2 car twice. That was one of the early episodes that I did, and then I revisited it later on. So this is not the 36th different car that I've taken out on the Nordschleife, but it's almost the 36th. It's like the 34th or 35th, something like that. So I have quite a bit of experience on this laser scanned version of the Nordschleife within Assetto Corsa, and it's a wonderful track. It's probably my favorite track in the world, if I had to pick. It's one of those things where if somebody asked you, if you could only race one track for the rest of your life, what would it be? Nordschleife, hands down, no question about it. Nordschleife. If I had to pick a second one, it would probably be Spa. But Nordschleife it's got everything. It's got the long straight, it's got the tight corners, it's got the long fast corners, it's got downhill corners, as you can see, it's got uphill corners, as you can see, it's got cambered corners, it's got off cambered corners, it's got barriers. I mean, everything you could possibly want in a racing circuit is represented here at the Nordschleife. So that's why this series has been going for so long, and that's why it will continue to go. This is the first Green Hell Greenhorn video that I've released in quite a while, and that is because of F1 2015 in the Pro Season mode. No need to worry, though. I'm not giving up on Pro Season at all. I'll be recording Montreal very shortly here, but I really, I mean, for those of you that follow me on Twitter at Fake Ghost Pirate, you'll know that I have been literally fiending to drive this car on the Nordschleife. I mean, it's like an actual addiction at this point, driving the Nordschleife. And after so much racing in F1 2015, I just was really, I was having withdrawals from the Nordschleife. And the fact that the car that I would buy was now represented in the game, I mean, that was just too good to pass up. So I resisted the temptation for as long as I possibly could, but here we are on the Nordschleife with the Toyota GT86. And I'm only calling it that because that's what they call it in the game. They call it the Toyota GT86 in Assetto Corsa. Yep, I completely got the braking wrong here. Let me talk very briefly about this car. So what you saw there was the back end stepped out under braking. It's got pretty soft suspension. This is very much a road car, an affordable road car at that. I want to say it's about $25,000 US to buy one of these cars brand new, which is quite reasonable. They're highly moddable. You can slap a turbo on one of these things and give it, an extra 100 horsepower and so on and so forth. It's a Japanese tuner car. So anybody that's really into those types of cars, I would imagine, is probably going to be into this type of car. It's also, it kind of follows in the spirit of the Nissan 240SX, otherwise known as the Nissan Silvia, the S13, the S14, the S15, that whole generation of Nissans. It's an affordable rear-wheel drive sports car. That's what this car is all about. The suspension on it is pretty soft because, again, it's a road car. It's a sporty road car. It's not a 100% sports car. You know, like a sports car is like a Porsche 911. A Porsche 911 isn't a supercar. It's a sports car. But it's not really meant for everyday driving. This car is a sports car that's meant for everyday driving. So, you know, this is something that you can drive to and from work, and then on the weekends you can take it out to the track and really put it through the ringer and you know, see what it's got and stuff. So it's quite a nice car. But because of the soft suspension, when you lay on the brakes in this car, the balance shifts forward heavily. I mean, there is a heavy shift forward. Right there, you can see I'm trying to find the spot between second and third, because I'm in that weird location where I was going at a speed where the RPMs were too low for third, too high for second. I've accidentally dropped it down into first gear there for the first corner. This is now our flying lap. For those of you that are unfamiliar with the Nordschleife, that was turn 1 that I messed up back there. So I'm already off to a fantastic start, and sarcasm. For this first flying lap, but of course this isn't going to be the fastest one. The out lap is very much an exploration lap, just kind of getting a feel for the car. The second lap is really sort of trying to find my braking points and what gear I need to be in for various corners and whatnot. So this will be not a very quick lap, if we're being honest. I'll probably spin at some point. Going to stay in third gear for this right-hander, blind to apex as you come up and over the hill, and then stay to the left-hand side to shorten the run as you come down the hill now for a bit of a flat-out section before we go up and over the hill. I can tell you, I believe I'm gonna drop it down into fourth gear at the top of this hill. I'm gonna give it a stab of the brakes. There it is. Drop it down into fourth, turn in, and that was pretty nice. It looked good, but I can tell you that wasn't very quick. You could go faster. 100% you can go faster, no doubt about it. So I will be finding more time as this video progresses. Now, one thing I'd like to mention is and I'm sure it's noticeable for you guys, the lack of power, especially once you hit 6th gear. The car pretty much stops accelerating. You gain about 1 mile an hour per second, I would say, maybe even a little bit less. And it really, I think this car would benefit a lot from having a Step 1, Step 2, Step 3 upgrade in Assetto Corsa. There are various cars within Assetto Corsa that have various options as far as power and suspension and stuff like that. You can't customize or tune the cars in Assetto Corsa, but some of the cars will have like a Step 1 version. So you have the regular road version, then you have the Step 1 version, which is going to have a little bit of extra horsepower. It's going to weigh a little bit less and that sort of thing. For example, the one that comes to mind at the moment is the Ferrari F40. You can drive the stock Ferrari F40 in this game, or you can take out the Step 3 version of the Ferrari F40, and it's quite a bit faster. It's a pretty significant power boost. I think it adds on a twin turbo or something stupid like that. Of course, Step 1 means it's a little bit more powerful, Step 2 means it's a lot more powerful, and Step 3 means basically it's a completely different car. So I think this is a car that would really benefit from a Step 1, Step 2, Step 3 type situation. If they could add some performance options for this car, I think that would be fantastic. Just this base road car is a lot of fun on the Nordschleife. I would really recommend it to anybody that's new to driving the Nordschleife. This is a fantastic car for starting out with because it's low on power, and right there is the weight transfer that I was talking about under braking. I pretty much stepped on the brakes, turned the wheel to the right-hand side, and the back end just stepped out because all the weight shifted forward. The back end became very floaty, and it just started sliding, and there was no way to control it. I was going like 100 miles an hour into that corner, so once the back end started to step out, there was really nothing I could do about that. So that's a significant amount of time lost there as I dropped down into second gear for that wonderful left-hander, and then pretty much full throttle through this right-hander because of how little power this GT86 has. So again, I would really appreciate it if maybe Kunos could possibly add a Step 1, Step 2, Step 3 for this car, or at least a Step 1. I really think if you added like 50 horsepower to this car, it would be a lot more fun, especially on a track like the Nordschleife here. You know, because of the uphills, like that corner I just went through there, the uphill right-hander, even in third gear, you're really struggling to get up that hill because of the tiny engine that's in this car. It is a 6-speed, but you really don't use 6th gear for very much. It's more of a cruising gear Third gear for this right-hander. Nice line through there. I could have carried more speed. You can see I was pretty far from the exit curb there, so I definitely could have carried more speed through that corner. I don't know the corner names before you guys start ragging on me about that one again if you're new. I don't know the corner names. Yes, I drive this track all the time. No, I don't know the corner names. Sorry. I know the carousels. I know the name of the carousels, or I know that they're called carousels. There's one coming up in a little bit here at the end of this flat-out section. We're going to go into a right-handed hairpin and then into a left-handed carousel. Actually, all the carousels are left-handed. I've just realized that for the first time. And that's the beauty of the Nordschleife. You're constantly learning, which is why this series is still called Grüne Hölle, Greenhorn. You can see right there, I tried to stay in 5th gear. I had a little bit of a lift coming out of the corner. And once again, I'm trying to find that cutoff point. I don't know about cutoff point is the right word, but I'm trying to find where I need to shift from 4th into 5th. It's a bit difficult. The gear shifts on this car aren't very quick. Also, I don't have a clutch. I'm using the Driving Force GT Logitech wheel, and there's no clutch pedal on that car, so I have an auto clutch, which blips the throttle for me and all that kind of stuff as we dip down into the first carousel. Probably the best carousel, this one. And coming out of it pretty nicely there. In a lot of cars, you really got to be careful on the throttle coming out of the carousel. Not so much with this car, which once again I think emphasizes the fact that this is very much a beginner-level car. I think it still requires great skill to be quick in this car, but I think pretty much anybody could just take this car out and take it for a spin and have a good time in it, because you know, things happen sort of in slow motion in comparison. Dropping down to 6th gear, or 2nd gear, excuse me, for that right-hander, I definitely should have stayed in 3rd gear. Would have been the right choice. I believe you're going to see me hit the brakes here. Yep, a little bit of dab on the brakes there. You'll see in a later lap that actually all I have to do is lift off for that corner and then brake before the left-hander, basically. Taking way too much inside curb there on that uphill right-hander, which is something you really want to avoid. It unsettles the car. Dropping down from 4th down into 3rd gear for the double right-hander here. And then I believe it's going to be, yep, just a lift into this right-hander, running pretty wide there, using all of the curbing on the exit there, and then before dropping it down once again into 3rd gear for another uphill right-hander. And I touched the inside curb there. Once again, that unsettled the car, and that just kind of set me off. You can see the curbs kind of raise up as they go, so, and once again, the curb there unsettling my car. So the curbing in a lot of these corners is it's not bad to touch it if you're touching it at the entrance or exit of the corner, but at the apex of the corner, the curbs are quite high, and they can really unsettle the car. So curbs are really something you want to avoid, especially when you're first starting out at the Nordschleife. If anybody's watching this as sort of a guide video, I'd say avoid the curbs like the plague, at least when you're starting out, which is something that I tried to do when I was first starting out, but just couldn't do, and I don't know why. So now braking in a straight line for this very high-speed right-hander, 4th gear for this one, almost 90 miles an hour, and then dropping it down into 3rd gear, taking a very wide entrance. I love that corner, that left-hander right there. And then we have another carousel here. Is it just 2 carousels? It is just 2 carousels, isn't it? And they're both left-handers. I don't know why I was thinking it was 3, but anyway, I'd use 3rd gear for that carousel. I think I dropped it down into 2nd there. Stab at the brakes and then down into 3rd as we go into this uphill right-hander. Definitely could have carried more speed through there, and then it's just flat out through this section because the car is just not powerful enough to carry enough speed to warrant a lift through there as we come now onto the very long straight and going up through the gears very slowly. Of course, this straight feels like an eternity when you're in a car that's this long, that is this slow. With a faster car, of course, it all seems to go by pretty quickly. But you can see there, I just shifted into 6th gear, 129, 130, 130. Oh, now we're going up the hill, 129, 128, and then we'll pick up some more speed as we're coming back down the hill again. Probably going to drop down to 127 as we approach the crest of the hill. Nope, going back up now, 129, 130. What's going to be very important, this will be flat out for the left-hander, and then it's going to be flat out for the right-hander, and then I'm going to try and start braking in a straight line. Here we are, in a straight line, braking. Got to be very careful with the braking and make sure you don't step on it too much, because then you'll shift the weight forward too much, and also you don't want to lock the tires as we now begin another lap. This is the final corner of the circuit. We're going to cross the line. It's a 9:07. Not a great lap, but lots of time to be found here. Let's see if I can improve turn 1. I've turned in way too early, taken way too much inside curve, but at least this time I was in the correct gear. So overall, I do think that I am going to be already up on this lap, a little bit faster than the previous lap. Full throttle through that downhill right-hander. Fantastic corner in this car. And then we need to start braking in a straight line as much as we can. You can see the wheel was turned left ever so slightly when I started braking. You can see the car trying to break away from you, the rear end trying to step out. I would say that's the most important thing for you guys that are taking this car out for the first time, is to just be very cautious with the braking, at least initially. Just some information as far as the track conditions and the car conditions and whatnot. I'm running with about 10 liters of fuel in the car. You can see that on the fuel gauge at the bottom left there. You can also tell that the fuel level is not going down, which means that I have fuel consumption turned off. I also have tire wear turned off as well, and I'm running the semi-slick tires. I don't think I made any sort of setup adjustments beyond that, though. I think I just lowered the amount of fuel and made sure that I was on the softest possible tire compound, which I am. So once again, going through this flat-out section early in the lap, and we're going to be giving a little stab of the brakes and dropping down into 5th gear for this high-speed left-hander. You can see they're carrying about 115, 110 miles per hour into the apex, and then braking just before the asphalt changes color. You'll notice as you're coming out of that left-hand corner, the road changes from a darker color of asphalt to a lighter color. And believe it or not, that is about the braking point. Of course, it depends on what car you're driving, but that's about the braking point. So if you're driving the Nordschleife for the first time and you're coming out of that high-speed left-hander, just know that that part where the asphalt changes color is probably where you're going to want to be braking. So nicely up and over that hill in 4th gear for the entrance to this corner. Going to be dropping it down into 3rd, and then I imagine 2nd, and we've gone a little bit deep. The back end trying to step out at us, counter steering and losing lots of time there. So that definitely was not faster than last time, but we did manage to keep it on the road, so we haven't lost too much time there. Could have been a lot worse, that is for sure. But now this is a little sort of where it gets serious. We're 22 minutes into the video. I tend to do an out lap and then sort of an exploration lap and then a hot lap, and then I'm going to push like hell lap. So this is sort of like the hot lap. This is where I'm looking to do a fast yet controlled lap time. I really want to see what this car can do, but I don't want to take any sort of unnecessary risks. The next lap is where I'm going to push like absolute hell, and I'm going to see what this car has. And I'm going to see what I have as well. I believe full throttle through that sort of chicane there, trying to brake in a straight line there, staying in 4th gear, turning it a little bit early there, but carrying a nice amount of speed through there. And then we're going to be braking pretty early, right around there, and then lifting off the brakes as we turn the car right, and then going back on the brakes down into 2nd gear. So once again, just avoiding braking while turning the wheel at the same time. Just again, because of the weight transfer of this car, it's very easy to get corner entry oversteer if you try to turn and brake at the same time. And again, that is because this is a road car. And once again, I understand, you know, for some people that might not be appealing to you whatsoever, but honestly, that's something that I really enjoy. You know, as a kid, even as an adult, if I'm being totally honest, I'm one of those people where if I'm out on the road driving somewhere and I get bored, you know, and I see two cars next to each other, I'll try to imagine what it would be like if those two cars raced each other. And I'm not talking about fancy cars or anything. I'm talking about the everyday road cars that you see. That sort of thing really interests me. You know, I would love to see if that Audi that someone has would be a lot quicker than this you know, high-powered sport SUV, or you know, just random stuff like that. I'm sure a lot of you guys probably do the same sort of thing. You know, when you just see cars out on the road, you kind of wonder to yourself, I wonder which of those would be faster. I wonder what those handle like. I wonder what it would be like to see those cars in a race. And that sort of stuff really interests me. So I get a kick out of taking road cars out on racing circuits. I can tell you for this high-speed left-hander here, I am definitely going to lift off. There it is. Big lift for about 1 second. Didn't turn in early enough, though, and that sort of killed my momentum through the corner because I did not need to lift that much. I lifted the correct amount. I just needed to turn in earlier, and then I could have gotten back on the throttle a little bit sooner and all that kind of stuff. So into this right-handed hairpin down into second gear, and then pretty much full throttle out of the corner, even in second gear. And that's why I show the throttle inputs down at the bottom right for you guys, is so that you can see exactly how I'm controlling this car. You can see almost never using full brake pressure. It's a great way to lock up the tires. So, I mean, I would say about 50% brake pressure is what I'm looking to apply at most. Really not going above 50% brake pressure as far as that's concerned. But this is a pretty good lap so far. No major mistakes or anything like that, so it should be pretty good. I'm expecting it to be below 9 minutes, that's for sure, which is not a very quick lap time. I've done slower lap times than that, though, so this is certainly not the slowest car in Assetto Corsa, but it's far from the fastest car. I think I was doing like 5-minute 30 in the F1 car, so this car is about half the speed of an F1 car, of a 2015 F1 car. So yeah, it's not a super quick car. I ran a little bit wide there through the left-hander, staying in fourth gear that time for the downhill right-hander, and then I imagine going into third. And let's see if I avoid the inside curb. I do. That's definitely the best I've taken that. Shifting quickly back up into fourth gear, once again dropping it down into third for the double left-hander. Again, running a little bit wide there. Carried a little bit too much speed. Do I go up into fourth? I don't. I stay into third, missing my apex ever so slightly and running very wide using all of the circuit as we prepare to go up this right-handed. I love the uphill right-handers. The one that we did just a little bit ago and that one right there that we just did, I really enjoy those types of corners. This as well, where you go into the uphill left-hander and then it's kind of a blind crest as you go up and over to the right. And you can see the curbing throwing off my car a little bit. This is flat out now, this kind of kink right here. You want to get a nice line through there. I'm going to brake just before the dip in the road, and I'm going to go down into fourth gear, running very wide, getting into the grass a little bit there, which has hindered my ability to get back on the throttle, downshifting once again into third gear before shifting back up into fourth gear around 83 miles per hour. And now we go down the hill for one of the best parts of this circuit, without a doubt. Love this flat-out section. Lots of blind apexes, lots of hill crests you have to manage, lots of bumps you have to manage as well. It's a fantastic section of circuit. It's flat out for most cars, even for road cars, but still very challenging, which I really enjoy. Fourth gear, staying far to the right-hand side in order to open up this left-hander now. It's a very short run from that right-hander to the left-hander. Running out a little bit wide there. I could have carried a little bit more speed. Staying in third gear now for this carousel, avoiding the inside curb and carrying as much speed as you can. Very bumpy at the exit of that carousel, so you have to be careful on the throttle coming out of there, which is why I would say it's better to stay in third gear for that one. That way you can avoid any sort of wheel spin as you're coming back on the throttle. Once again, did not carry enough speed through that uphill right-hander before we come onto the very long straight. But I do believe I carried a little bit more speed versus last time, so hopefully we won't be slowing down quite so much when we get to that hill. So remember last time we got down to 128 miles per hour as we were going up the hill on this straight. So let's see where we get as far as top speed going down the hill. We're at 128, 129. 130. Are we going to hit 131? No, we don't. We're going to be dropping back down. Yep, there it is, 129. And then are we going to, yeah, 128 again. And let's see, are we going to even go down to 127? No, we don't. Okay, so once again, it stabilizes at 128 miles an hour. Now, once again, we're going down the hill, so we're going to be picking up speed. And I believe I make a mess of the final couple of corners here. I think I brake way too late for this corner. Yep, just now getting on the brakes. You can see my line is all out of shape. So I braked too late, and my line was compromised there as well. So we're going to do a 360 after making contact with the barrier. We're definitely going to lose out on a few seconds there, probably about 3 or 4 seconds, I would estimate, thereabouts. I think it's still going to be a faster lap versus the previous one as we could make our way around the final corner in second gear, and it's an 8:58.5, so it's about 8.5 seconds faster than the previous lap. So now this is the final lap that we're going to do, and I'm going to push extremely hard here, very nicely there through turn 1, much better than the 2 previous laps. So we're already up for sure, up into fourth gear now as we go once again through the flat out downhill right-hander here. Lots of understeer in the car, you can see, so you really have to compensate for that as we shift up into fifth gear, and there's really no braking point. I mean, that's one of the really tricky things about this circuit for a lot of people, I would assume anyway, is that there are no brake markers. There's no like 100-meter board, 50-meter board, that sort of thing. You really just sort of have to tell by the road, but there's lots of markings on the road as well. You can see there's lots of chalk markings and spray paint and all kinds of stuff like that, and really, you know, you just sort of get a feel for it, which is what I love about this circuit. There's not an exact science. It's about feel. It's about feeling the circuit. It's about becoming one with the car and just becoming one with the circuit, just getting into that zone, that place of nirvana that Ayrton Senna used to talk about. You know, where it's just you and the road, and you know, you're not thinking about anything else. Everything's happening instinctively. You know, you're almost thinking about nothing as you're driving. I mean, I imagine that's sort of what race car drivers are like when they're really in the zone. They're so focused with their sense of touch and everything. And okay, right here, sorry. Yep, right here, you're gonna see me run off the circuit, and yep, that sound you just heard was Cortana. So I was giving tips again. Remember, because I was doing live commentary with this, and I was giving tips about how to. I was talking about the difference in asphalt color, and how that's your breaking point. And Cortana decided to do a search for asphalt changing color. No, Cortana, stop, cancel. Because that's what I was saying. You know, the thing popped up that said she was starting to do a search, and I was trying to get her to stop from doing the search. I'm yelling, cancel, stop, and it's just not working. Those words just got added on the search. So definitely going to be turning her off the next time I do live comms for a video. But I'm pretty sure I was up. Of course, there are no deltas on this car, and I don't have any deltas on the UI. I'm very minimalistic when it comes to the UI in Assetto Corsa. Longtime watchers of this series will be very familiar with that. I really like to just have the bar at the bottom with the gear and the RPMs and the miles per hour and all that kind of stuff, and then I like to have the pedal display. I didn't even used to have the pedal display, but that was specifically asked for. I believe Furkan Ozcan asked for that one, so that's why the pedal display has been in all of the videos since then, purely because Furkan wanted it. So if you guys have any sort of requests as far as cars you want to see in this and whatnot, feel free to leave your comments. I'm happy to oblige. It probably is going to be a while before we see another Green Hell Greenhorn video. And that's purely because I'm so busy with pro season and other stuff. Also, I am going to be announcing a new series coming up pretty soon. In fact, right after this video goes live, there's going to be another video that goes live on this channel, and it's going to tell people that I'm requesting footage from viewers and subscribers to Box Gaming. So tell you what, you know, if you guys watched all of this video and you're currently watching this right now, I'm going to go ahead and tell you exactly what the new series is. So basically, I'm going to request people to send me their 25% race distances within F1 2015. I'm going to double the speed, and I'm going to do commentary for F1 races at double speed. So that's what it's going to be. Should be pretty exciting. So that's going to do it for this video, though. Coming up next is the replay. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.